What is happening? Timing.
Dude, check out this haircut that I got yesterday, man. I don't have to wear a hat anymore. I feel like a new man.
Nice. Looking good, man. Looking good. What's happening, everybody, man? Welcome to another episode of Coffee and Coaching. You know, I got my trusty old pumpkin spice and got my main man, Joel Hollo from the west side of the 21-6.
Sir, what's happening? We got some good stuff shaking going on, man.
Yeah? What you got?
We turned this week. So, we have little, it's weird. So, you've always told us to have these themes in your office, right? And so we've always done these large themes, and then we started doing little micro themes because I love the word micro. And so every single week we have this other little focus that we're focusing on. So we've had the last, 3 to 4 weeks, we've been focusing on Q4, not only, jamming some stuff into Q4, setting your future self up for success. This week, we're focusing on training because I think it's very easily forgotten about what separates that traditional real estate agent from the expert, and why it's so important to not only get training, but making sure that you're on with some relevant training, that people are being successful, or stuff you can immediately implement in the market. So we're really hammering that home this week.
So a couple things there to unpack for everybody. One, what led to the decision of training, and then what led to the decision of the micro themes.
It's because, so when I say the word relevant, that's something that we changed. Before, we would lay out 6 months of content, meaning 6 months of training. And that way our agents knew, here's what's going out. And then the market shifted. And we're like, you can't do that. We can't be training on something that's pointless. So we just started shooting from the hip. Every single Monday we get together and say, here's what Friday's training is going to be about, because that's what's relevant. What are the agents struggling with the most, or what are they being faced with the most right now? All hands on deck. And so that's kind of where the micro came in. So, and I think, I'm just seeing, and you probably see, I don't know if you're getting the same results, but man, I can see the dip in the activity and the participation in the live trainings across the board. I pay attention who's watching your Honey Badger stuff, who's watching, Expert Mentors Live, the live Q&A. And I just want to make sure that everybody's tapping into, first of all, they realize what they have at their fingertips, because, man, I don't know, go to another company and go sit in an hour-long, Renee and I were just talking about this yesterday, go sit in your hour-long company meeting and go over company numbers and leave there going, what was that? What did I truly get out of any of that? And was it to make myself better?
Yeah, I think there's a lot there. What you're saying, I think the relevant thing is so freaking critical, right? And it's that constant check in and making sure, what we need the most help with, and a lot of those decisions can be led from what the data is telling us, right? So, a lot of the meetings don't need to be, update meetings. That's the power of the scoreboards, right? That's the power of having, total buy-in to, sharing your numbers, reporting them, because, ultimately all we're trying to get to is, where is the constraint, right? What we reveal, we can heal. And you've got to have a culture of accountability, and you've got to have people that are bought into that at that high of a level. And I think that's where the power of, a tool like Sisu. I know we've had our Quad Track and stuff in the past. Quad Track is more so from a results standpoint, but I think a tool like Sisu gives you the ability to put some gamification around, the numbers, and you can see the numbers in real time, and you don't need to sit in a damn meeting to get an update on what the numbers are, because you can look at what's going on, in real time right in front of you. But it takes agents bought into, to the commitment, right? Like you said, the commitment of reporting their numbers. But most agents don't want to. And the reality is because they're not fucking doing anything. Right. And so they want to be scared. They're like, well, I'm busy. I'm doing a bunch of shit. Well, let's be real. Let's get to the truth. Right. Jay and I were talking about this the other day. I was listening to one of Rogan's podcasts and he had a guy on there and he was talking about, are you in this camp or are you in this camp? Right. Are you in, he was talking, political. But he said, I'm more of the tribe of truth. And like that resonated with me so well because let's talk about it. Let's talk about a specific issue and then I'll tell you where I stand. And so that's why he was like, I want to talk truth. I want to be the tribe of truth. And I think that's within our organizations. If we can buy in and understand that, hey, this is a culture, this is a tribe of truth. We're just trying to get to the truth. And Joel, you and I've talked about this. This is the most transparent time in history, right? And it is only going to get more and more and more transparent, right? So if you, and it was a lot of the things, I don't care where you stand, who you voted for, whatever, but it was like, you've got somebody that talks that like, you can't fact check shit, right? You can fact check anything, right? Making a comment, you can go check the facts, right? That's what Rogan does so good. He's like, whoa, hold on. Jamie, pull that up for me real quick. Right. So that's the world we live in. And if you don't understand or embrace that, then, that's going to be your brand and your reputation. We've talked about, the power of companies when they make hires, they ain't going to look at your damn resume. You know what your resume is? It's what is out there on social media. That's your resume. And so what are you saying? What are you doing? And understanding that this is the most transparent time in history. And I hope you are getting into the tribe of truth. And within your organizations, you're having, transparency and reporting of the key metrics, the measurables that are within your control that drive the outcomes. And that's what you've got to rally your people around. They have to be bought into that. And because all we're trying to do is get to the truth, right? We're trying to get to the result. And we got to know what we reveal, we can heal. And that's it. I mean, at the end of the day, that's really it. And, being able to deliver value and content and training, like you were talking about, that talks to what they're struggling with. And I think that's so awesome with the relevant information that you're talking about, that, it's speaking to where the constraint is either in their mind or in their skill set. Right. And so being able to really uncover that and being able to pour in there is what's going to separate, you guys as a phenomenal organization versus somebody else.
And, it's funny you say fact check because that's similar to the relevant training. It's all based on results.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? we hear it from, top agents nationally. This is what we're doing. This is what's working. And yes, you have to tweak it a little bit according to your market, but
sure,
you've got a great foundation and a shell of what you need to be doing. And so that's what, honestly, we were able to pass down. And so, yeah, fact check it because it's all based on phenomenal results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I was in the shower a while ago thinking about this. And it was around hiring for some reason. And I don't know why this popped into my head, but I have a lot of, we see the posts, right, in the groups and stuff talking about, what do you recommend for an ISA, right? I need to hire an ISA. Do we need to hire and I was thinking through that and I was like, what is your definition of an ISA? So I go back to decision making, right? And making decisions. And the first thing with the decisions, you've got to get clear on what we're talking about. Oh, yeah. So, somebody out there, like, what is your definition of an ISA versus my definition of an ISA versus, somebody else's, yours? What is it? And then from there, once we know exactly the meaning that we're giving to it, the meaning of the context of the words, and then, what's the data? What's the goal, right? What's the goal? What are we trying to accomplish? And then what are all the ways to get to the goal? So I don't know. It was just random. I was just like, man, I don't think people, do enough to get clear on, what making sure that we're all on the same page,
Right.
right? Making sure we're all on the same page, speaking the same language. I think that's the critical component there in any type of decision making that's going on. So I don't know, just a random thought.
Random thoughts in the shower by John Kitchens. Sounds like a Saturday Night Live skit.
Saturday Night Live episode, man. One of the things. So we are probably going to record the 50th episode of the Growth Guys podcast. And I think, if you guys haven't tuned into any of those episodes, I think 48 or 49 of them are up. You can get them anywhere you can get podcasts. Just search Growth Guys podcast. And like I said, we're about to record the 50th episode. And it's around growth. Obviously, Growth Guys podcast got to be the 50th episode. It's got to be about growth.
Heck yeah.
But I was kind of reflecting back through the year, and what a freaking interesting year we've all had. And it's like what's going on right now does not surprise me. I mean,
Right.
It's got to be as bizarre as this year is. So, what are some of the things, for you guys? You guys have had a phenomenal year in growth. Like what were some of the things that you can kind of reflect back on and the decisions that you guys made that have propelled the growth, for the Stasic group this year?
Man, honestly, the weird answer. Number one thing that we did as soon as the pandemic hit. This is all you too. It was over communicate. So we were in front of our agents every day. It was just another thing that I was talking to Renee and Kimmy about yesterday on their Facebook Live. The one thing that we did, it was like I was in front of all of the training platforms and our agents every single day. All right, guys, here's the show goes on. This is what we need to be doing today. You know what? And we were there to support. We were over communicating with all of them.
Yeah.
And I think part of the growth came because other brokerages were not doing that. They didn't have the John Kitchens advice. They were figuring things out, but they forgot that communication aspect with their agents, and agents were feeling lost. And so that was a huge portion of it. But man, honestly, that was one of the best things was, support the agents. Obviously Al and I had the oh shit moment when we had a conference call, like, all right, like we need to do our best to project what's going to happen. So we trimmed way down, and what good came out of that was we figured out where we were fat. And if you ever want to save, well, a team our size, if you ever want to save about $12,000 a month, cut up your debit card one time and then get a new debit card issued. You're going to be getting calls on people that, hey, we got to renew these platforms. And then you'll realize what reoccurring charges you have that you don't need. Yeah. So it was very interesting. It actually really helped us out in the budgeting aspect, because now that we're through it, okay, we're not out of the weeds, but yes, we're functioning. We realize what we really don't need in the company. And where we failed, because that might be your next question, is, man, I'm going to be completely transparent. I trained our agents in the wrong area. I trained them to, well, and hear me out, this is going to sound super weird. I trained them to convert and manage and create their own leads, which tipped the scales of our company-generated business versus the agent-generated business. We were at super happy 50-50 company, and then it went like this. And it was agent-generated heavy because I was showing them how to do market updates on their social media. I was showing them how to create their own home evaluation leads. I was showing them how to touch with their sphere of influence and all this stuff. And what I needed to be training on was how to convert our leads that we have. So, we obviously changed that around a lot. So we've made strides on, creating a lead impact zone meeting, which we always should have had. But now the agents who qualify for leads, they have to be on this every single Thursday right before this podcast. And, we go with high level accountability. That's what we call it. It's you got accountability in real estate, and then you have the high level accountability for the committed.
I love that. And I don't know if teaching them how to fish is a bad idea. I think though that as long as you're teaching them how to fish for listings, I think is the key, because when you have to become a listing centric organization. You just have to, and especially as you guys are all feeling the tightness of inventory in markets across the country. And, if your organization is not always from the mindset thinking that everything is a listing lead, a listing opportunity, even if it's a home search inquiry, you still have to view them as a listing until they're not. Yep. Right. And so that to me is where, you've got to push the drive. I wouldn't say push, but you got to drive the culture in that direction. You just have to be, more listings, more exposure, right? Mind share, market share. And, if we've got more signs in the yards, we've got more, online advertising and marketing driving, that more eyeballs. It's an eyeballs game. And it's a top of mind game. You got to remember the consumer can only hold two positions in the mind. So what are you doing to get to be number one or number two in the mind of the consumer? And more signs in the yard, more impressions helps with that. So I think that has to be the key. But one of the things, kind of looking back, kind of reflecting back over from a growth standpoint, and I know you guys did this as well, and it was really, the hard look in the mirror, right? Checking in with yourself, and then also making sure that your people are checking in with themselves. Yeah. And because mindset is where it's always at, right? So when I look at kind of, where that has to start, it goes back to, episode 1 of Coffee and Coaching, talking about the coaching code, and, remembering that, we're feeling creatures, right? We're feeling creatures, and what drives our feelings is our thinking, and it's our beliefs, right? All our beliefs is just a collection of our thoughts. And just because you think a certain way or you believe something to be true doesn't mean it's true. And, we have to fact check that. And so the way to fact check your thoughts and your beliefs is if I walked into a court of my peers, would they say that is true?
Right.
Right. If they say it's true, then it's true. If one out of them say, I think that's bullshit, then there's probably some bullshit there and you need to check it. And so, what drives those thoughts, what drives those beliefs? It's circumstance, it's environment, right? Environment is stronger than will. And so, if you're having those disempowering thoughts, it's because you're not around empowering people. You're not around an empowering culture. You're not around you're not feeding your mind the things that are going to empower, right? Yep. So that's why, we talk mentor, right? Model, mastermind. So mastermind, who are you collectively spending time with, right? If the people in your circle are not inspiring you, you don't have a circle, you have a cage. It's my favorite Nipsey quote around the power of, the people you spend time with. And so, because it drives your thoughts, it drives your beliefs, which drive how you feel, which drive your actions, which drive your results. So I think understanding that code, that sequence is where it always has to start. And you've got to put yourself in check first. And then, you've got to make sure your team and your people around you are that way. Man, I heard something the other day, because we always talk about modeling behavior, right? Our kids are paying attention. It's no different, right? Our team is paying attention as well. But I know where it was. So for all of you dads out there listening in, if you're not subscribed to Ryan Holiday's daily email called Daily Dad, it's the Daily Dad, dailydad.com. So, Ryan Holiday has, the Daily Stoic. He's got, all of his books beyond, Ego is the Enemy. The Obstacle is the Way. He's amazing, right? So when he became a dad, he started writing this daily newsletter called Daily Dad. And it's just little subtle reminders for dads out there. And the one the other day was our kids all the way from, they're watching, we know, but he put another thing in perspective. He said, even in their car seats, watching how you drive is teaching them how to drive, how it's okay to drive, right? If you're that insane idiot asshole flying down the freeway that's swerving in between cars every which way, and you got a kid strapped in the car seat in the back, they're thinking that's okay. That's how you drive. So it's just those little subtle reminders like that that we have to be conscious of, we have to be aware of, and it trans over to even within our organizations and with our teams, right? They're watching, right? I promise you, everybody in the Stay Sick group is watching how Joel shows up every day.
Yeah.
Right. Is he showing up on point? Is he showing up how we need to be behaving? I know the answer is yes, but you have to be aware of that. And so that was some of the big gets, looking at the people that have had some of their best months ever in their career this year versus those that are getting out of the business.
Yeah. Paralyzed.
It's the daily discipline, right? It's the daily activity. That's why I loved when you were saying right in the beginning, the micro moments, the micro commitments, is really what it's all about. I think it's fantastic.
Dude, it's the committed, the consistency. I think I don't know if I said this on our last Coffee and Coaching, but the committed will always outsmoke the talented every damn day. I would rather have a team of 10 committed people than 10 talented people, to be honest with you. And I see it firsthand. You said, how do you show up every day? Our huddle this morning, 40-some agents on our team, besides me, Al, Andrea, and Megan, which is our staff, what I consider our inside team, there was 4 real estate agents. That's it on our huddle. That's opened up to all these agents. And I just sat back and thinking, I'm like, if I were to miss one day, I would be getting phone calls like, hey, what's going on? Why aren't you, on the huddle? And that's good, right? It's all about that consistency that we're practicing what we're preaching. But I don't know, man. I was looking back. I'm going, man, who's actually committed? But it wasn't just one day. This has been like the ongoing for like a week and a half for us. And I'm going, what's stopping you from starting your day off with on that right foot, early, positive focus, and setting the rest of your day up for success? It's because us humans, the funny creatures that we are, right? We like that short-term intensity, and we're all in for one day, and then we're going to slack off for the rest of the week. Why? Why not just do baby steps all throughout the whole entire week? Micro.
So what is so that's a good point. So, what could you guys be doing differently to get more engagement, more folks committed to, that reset of the morning, right? So for you guys, the importance of the daily huddle is to reset, refocus, clear on what it is to win the day.
Yeah.
And so how do you guys as leaders, and this is just a great lesson for everybody listening in, what could you be doing differently? 100-0, right? You guys embody that principle. So what could you guys be doing to get more engagement?
Honestly, so it's a few different things, but I mean, for us is, I'm always trying to recruit our agents back to our team. Okay. So getting them involved. When I call them to check in with them, I'm asking them, is there anything that we could be doing different internally? Hey, could I get some feedback regarding the huddle? How do you like it? And honestly, most of the time, these are the agents that don't show up, so they don't have any feedback. Yeah. So I say, hey, that's great. Well, what's I haven't seen you on in a while. What's stopping you from jumping on? Is there anything that we could do different to help you get on? And it's that self-directed way of leadership, and it's showing them too that I remind them the importance of the huddle. It's not for my enjoyment. to be honest with you. I mean, yeah, it is, but it's there to, we all know this is the first thing that you're committing to for the day. Yes, getting out of bed, making your bed. We could talk about that, how you start your day. Trisha Turner's got it nailed. But, this is the first thing in business that you are committing to, and it's for 10 minutes. And if you cannot commit to that, like you always say, where else is this showing up? But where else in your business is this showing up?
Yeah.
And so we have the consistent goers on, for a majority of the week. But when they slip off, I like to shoot them the John Sheplack text that always gets a response, by the way, from either a real estate agent or a lead, which is, everything okay? Question mark. You will always get a response. It's
100%
funny.
100%. Everything you said, yeah, spot on right there. The thing is that you've got to be able to, help put the mirror in front of their face, because how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're not showing up, right, if you're not committed to, your business, the financial, equity on your spoke, right, on your wheel, the spoke of the financial bucket, then, where is that showing up? Health, wealth, and relationships, right? So if you're not focused or committed to the things pursuing your wealth, you're not showing up to be informed, to help you be reminded that you need to be refocused, because we need to be reminded more than we need to be told. So with the health, wealth, and relationship bucket, so where is this showing up on the health side? And then where else is this showing up on the relationship side? If you're not showing up for your wealth, are you showing up for your health? Or are you showing up for your relationships? And pretty much the answer is going to be no. No, you're not. You're not showing up the way you need to show up. And, my reminder for me, right, we need to be reminded more than we need to be told, is Garrett White's, if the king doesn't rise, the queen in the kingdom dies, right? That's my alarm every morning reminder, right? How you set, Holly gives me shit with all of my alarms, but it says right there, right on the label, it says, if the king doesn't rise, the queen in the kingdom dies. That's what I see every morning when my alarm goes off. And it's just a reminder, like we all need to be reminded. It's just a reminder that get your ass up and get after it, right? In those three buckets, health, wealth, and relationships. And, if you're not making progress or moving forward in each of those equities, then what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, dude. And I tell you what, this is not a pat on my back, but my dad always taught me first in, last out, dude, no matter what, and that was my philosophy. I don't think I would have survived. I joined real estate in 2008. Go look what happened in the market starting in 2008. The worst time any real estate agent in the history could join. Joel decides, stupid. But man, I'll tell you what, I would never have survived if it wasn't for that advice. Be committed, be around people that are constantly, that are above you, because you're going to learn from them. And I didn't even realize my dad was giving me this advice, because organically you're going to, like I said, you're going to learn, but they're going to pull you up and just, pay attention.
Yeah.
And that consistency, that's, man, when I'm not on the huddle, like if, once a year, well, not this year, I go to Canada with my dad. I go on a big fishing trip, 0 power, 0 cell service, 0 everything. It's checkout. Dude, I'm biting my fingernails because I'm not on that huddle that I am on every day. I go on vacation. If I got my phone, I am still on there. So it's, man.
Forced reset.
What's that?
It's a forced reset.
Yeah. Right? I just, that's all. I mean, it was the commitment, the consistency, and then back to the training. It's like you're practicing like it's game time. Tiger Woods does not, after his round, he doesn't go back and go to the bar and sip on a whiskey and say, oh man, I could have done this better. No, he goes and drops 200 balls on the range, and then he goes back and practices like he's playing.
Then he hits the whiskey.
Then he hits. Well, that was a given. That was just priorities.
Priorities. I got it. Yeah, you're right, man. It's the training as if you're in a heavyweight fight, right? And you're always working. Keep working. It might not feel like, you're making progress. It's did you quit? Right? That's it, man. Did you quit? Did you keep working a little bit more than the next guy? That's it. That's all it is, right? There's no secret to it, right? I was listening to, I think it was the same podcast that Rogan was talking about, and that's what he said. He said, "I ain't no better than nobody else." He goes, "I just been doing it. I just keep doing it." And he goes, "If you keep doing it, you're going to get better, right? You're learning. You've got some tough criticism on yourself. Are you getting better, right? And are you staying with it? Just staying in the fight just a little bit longer, right? Yep. Just staying in the fight a little bit longer. And over time, right? That's why it's the turtle, man. That's, I've talked about, the little guy that's on my computer. And it's just those little things, right? That are little reminders that help keep us moving down the path that we want to go and doing those things. But you had mentioned, something that your dad had taught you, first in, last out. That's what I'm talking about, right? Those are those thoughts, right? That turn into your belief, right? So you believe that, and that is how you feel and how you act with certain things. And first in, last out doesn't mean that that's right or wrong, but that is, what you believe, for you, that's going to drive your success. And, first in, last out times time is how you win, right? For you. And, whatever that little reminder, that little belief for you times time, is the sauce, man. It's a secret sauce.
Yeah, man. And I honestly, you want to live by that, because the agents are they're watching. So just like you said,
yes, sir.
Great technique. It's not even a technique. That's probably the wrong word. But so something that I just did was I bought, I'm going to give it away, because some of my agents, if they're watching, they're going to be like, "Oh, I can't wait for mine." I bought, I don't even know, I think 300 little just blank cards that I'm going to do some handwritten, every single day, do little spurts of handwritten appreciation, give them out to the people that I've touched base with. I think that's going to be a game changer. But I learned from, who Chris Lindahl is?
Yeah.
So Chris Lindahl teaches he feels that he grew his team and the culture the way that it is. So he calls this method heel and toes, where he said there's only one way that you're going to build rapport and, get your agents to honestly to probably respect you and what you do, is by keeping them on their heels and you're always on your toes. And how you do that is by asking questions. He said you're always asking another question. Your agents are getting ready to walk out the door, and you're the one on your toes asking, "Oh, hey, by the way, how the kids doing?" Right? You're constantly, and they're the ones on their heels. So it's a leadership move, but man, it shows that you care so much about them. So like I challenge everybody, ask that next question. Ask one more question before someone leaves.
That's a great point. So it's the leadership principle as things start to change the dynamic around you, right? What is your question to statement ratio? That's the measurement, right? Yeah. So when you're looking at it in general, right? The reflecting back, what's your key metric from a leadership standpoint, and you want to gauge your leadership. What is your question to statement ratio? I see it too many times that leaders drive with statements, and if you want to know the number, it's about 80-20. You need to be 80% of your time asking questions, 20% with statements. And early on, when you're a smaller organization and there's just a handful of you, you can get away with statements. But as you continue to grow, sometimes those statements are taken as fact, whereas sometimes you're thinking out loud. And the more of leadership responsibilities you have to be really, really careful of that. And so monitor your question to statement ratio. Great leaders ask questions. They don't talk all the fucking time. And that's what just like, I see it because I have a high level of awareness for it. And I just know that they could grow if they had that awareness. And sometimes they just don't, right? They need that level of awareness. And so what is your question to statement ratio? That's the power, right? As a leader, if you want to explode as a leader, and here's the thing, guys, everybody listening into this, you are a leader. If you've got kiddos, you're a leader. And so what is your question to statement ratio with your kiddos, right? Are you asking your kiddos enough questions? You know, my kids go, I drive them crazy. Holly's like, stop asking them so many damn questions. But, you know, it's one of those things, brother, that is, man, if you can get that, your leadership will skyrocket. And, you know, that's even the power of one-on-ones, right? The power of one-on-one engagement. You know, what is your question to statement ratio in those encounters, in those conversations? Yep. And are you asking questions and allowing them to think through and come to the conclusion on their own? Because that's where it lands, and they're like, got it. And you know, that's where you have a tremendous amount of impact.
Self-directed, man.
It is, man. It is that, man. What I know you're going to have to bounce here off to an appointment, but as always, I appreciate you jumping in and hanging out with us this morning. Little coffee and coaching. But
I got a great meeting that I get to go to, though.
Yeah.
So one of my really good friends owns a great brewery in town. Well, they're expanding, and he goes, Joel, we need office space. I go, perfect. I'll be there, man. So,
let me sample as well while I'm
right.
here.
I know. Where are we putting these big tanks?
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, it's noon in Cleveland. This is sample time. Let's get after it.
That's right.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's always cocktail time in Cleveland, man.
I think that's why I like Cleveland so much. Yeah. For all of you guys listening in, man, we you know, have the probably one of the best tools out there, right? If you're struggling where you're at, where you need to kind of collect your thoughts in the direction that you want to take, you know, your business or even your life in general, go get a copy of the Clarity Report. If you haven't downloaded and got one of those in a while, if you haven't gone through that process, you know, right now might be one of the best times to do that. As we're wrapping up this really bizarre and weird year, getting ready to head into a new one. We need all the clarity we can. And, you know, the science is out there. If you really want to achieve as much as you want to achieve, it takes clarity and a plan. And the Clarity Report will get you moving in that direction. So you guys go check it out, freeclarityreport.com. Download your report. Carve out a couple hours to shut the cell phones off and allow your thoughts to come out of your head. And love to help you guys out any way we can.
Dude, that clarity name right there, that word, I love it. So when we onboard an agent, the very first thing we do is we take them through a condensed version of the Clarity Report, just so they're absolutely clear on everything. So it helps. And I cannot tell you how many agents that I've sat with that came on our team, and they've been a seasoned veteran agent, or they've been in the industry for years, and they're like, nobody has ever explained this to me this way and made me super clear on what I need to do. Not only what my future holds, what my goals are, but what I need to do on a micro commitment level.
That's it, brother. The daily wins, focus on what's within your control, measure it, and y'all guys get after it. If you need anything, let us know. Appreciate you. We'll see you guys on the next episode.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, John.
See you, bud.